Good morning and welcome to General Finance for October 6, 2025. Let's go to number 1, attendance roll call. Go ahead, Amos.
Scano, I'm present. Amos Key Jr.
Audrey Powers Bomberry.
Dale Bomberry.
Greg Fraser.
Hazel Johnson.
Melba Thomas.
Elena Van Every.
Cynthia Jameson.
And Dean, can you announce yourself?
Hello, Chiefs.
So Councillor Dean Hill is online. And Councillor Carrie Bomberry and Councillor Helen Miller and Councillor Leslie Green. Maybe be running late. Okay, Helen's gone to another meeting and Carrie will be late. Okay. Let's go to number 3, any changes, deletions to the agenda? If not, can I have a mover? Moved by Audrey, second by Melba. All in favor? Anybody opposed? See none, carried. Let's go to number 4, adoption of the general finance minutes for September 15th, 2025. Is there a mover? Yep. Go ahead, Dale. Question?
Yeah, just a comment into a motion 303 in regards to the additional funding for the tourism center. I know when we originally approved that I think it was early when we first got into council. I know there was a motion that there was a submission being made to the ISC for funding for 300,000 and there was like 297,000. So at that time, that's all we had was the motion to do that, and I assumed, because we didn't see no building information, no budget information in regards to the construction cost, so I assumed that was the total cost of the building, and I was reading this, and I see now it's over $1 million. I just know we never seen any, at least I didn't, I don't recall ever seeing any original construction costs or proposal or bid, so I'm just curious how we went. When we did the first motion was probably a little over 500,000, and then now it's up to $1 million. So I just don't know if something changed or what in relation to that. And I would probably stand where Helen was, because of the lack of information. So I don't know if any of that data was provided to clarify, I guess, because I don't remember seeing the original budget of which you got 1.2 million approximately. I thought it was going to be a little over 500,000. So that was my comment in relation to that motion.
Oh, Tracy just got here, but there's. Okay, so she said she'll check in for that.
Yeah, I'll probably stand where Helen stands in relation to the polling, just because of the lack of information.
Okay, is there a mover to accept the minutes? Moved by Melba. Seconder? Second by Hazel. All in favor? Anybody opposed? See none. One opposed. No delegations. Number 6. Approval to amend resolution GF number 289-0721-2025. Jennifer?
Sorry, that's probably, is that ours?
Is that ours? Oh.
Sorry, I can't pull up anything in my Nothing's opening. But this one is regarding the road paving, and it was passed. Now it says I have an error with the documents. The resolution was to pass the paving of the roads. That was done, I believe it was in July of this year. We need that not rescinded, but amended to include that either Tracy or the chief be the one to sign the contract with Dufferin. That was not part of the resolution. We did receive the contract from Dufferin, and it's over $2 million. I know that. We just need to make sure that there's authorization for somebody to be able to sign that contract with them, because that was not part of the original resolution.
So then, to include, therefore, be finally resolved that the chief executive officer be authorized to sign on behalf of Six Nations of the Grand River.
Yes.
With that amendment, is there a mover? Moved by Melba. Seconder? Second by Amos. Comment, Dale?
Yeah, when I first looked at this, I was curious as to what we were amending, and then even going back, looking at the briefing, no changes. So the actual amendments, and I was wondering, we could note that the actual amendment is to actually include that we're authorizing the COO or the CEO to sign the documents, right? The contract documents. It
So,
just seems very vague, that's all, when I first started reading the actual motion that's on item number 6, because it says to amend 289, and it says therefore be finally resolved that this CEO be authorized to sign on behalf of the Six Nations of the Grand River. So it was just seemed like the lack of information was when it's in the actual resolution. So we're actually amending to include that the CEO can sign.
So with my position, Dale, it is not yet in policy that I have authorization to bind the organization, and my current authorizing amount is still 50,000. So I'm not able to do any of that. That would have to go to Tracy, who's the only one at this point that can bind the organization.
Yeah, I know
So-
anybody can authorize it. Once council gives a resolution, if we actually name you, then you're authorized to sign, because council has that authority to name people to sign, so.
So to my understanding, it's just adding this to the resolution?
Yes.
Yes. So it's been moved in second. All in favor? Anybody opposed? See none. Carried. Waive second reading. Moved by Melba. Seconder. Second by Amos. All in favor? Anybody opposed? See none. Carried. Number 7. Approval to amend resolution ICGF number 5500818/2025. And it looks like just the same thing. I'm not sure. Just to add to sign it.
Can you give some background?
Cynthia?
Yeah, I think we should, somewhere in there, identify what it is, just like, I know we already did it, the number 6 above. It's regarding the, paving of the roads. But reading this, you have no idea what it is. I don't know. What is it relating to?
So I'm in on number 7. Yeah. That's what everybody. So we're just having difficulties. Go ahead, Shirley.
Yeah, just to explain that the motion that needs to be amended should be in the Dropbox. It's in regards to the road resurfacing and the naming of the contractor. In order for Tracy to be able to sign the agreements, the contract,
We just did that
we need a motion for her to be able to do that. So we just want to amend that motion to add that at the final therefore.
one. Deb?
So we just did that one, Shirley, and nobody seems to be able to open documents on the, in the system. So we're on
Oh,
number
okay.
7 now.
Okay, just hold on. I'll see if I can display it for you, okay? Oh, the folder's gone.
Our, yeah, our cameras aren't working either. Here.
Oh my goodness, okay. Well, I can see you fine, but anyway, okay. I'll get it for you. My apologies. Chief, can I just interrupt to ask Tia to remove that firefly from uh, the system?
Okay, she's removing it now.
Thank you.
Okay.
So for some reason, the 58th folder went in, or 59th folder went into the 58th, and now when I'm trying to open anything, it won't open, and everybody else seems to be having the same issue. So I don't know what to do.
Okay, I'm able to open it. Just hold on. I'll display it for you.
Go ahead. There you go, Deb. Yeah. Go ahead, Dale.
You know, that's what I'm saying. I'm not, like, I can open up on mine, I can get my open stuff, but in-camera stuff I can't open, but, all this resolution, it states there, and what's lacking under the therefore, from what I'm understanding, that, Deb has explained to us, is that we didn't authorize anybody to sign, so the amendments they're making is to authorize the CEO to sign on 6 and 7. That's what I'm understanding from what I'm reading. But like Cynthia said, that there seems to be a lack of information in the actual resolution that we're making. So I don't know if there should be another whereas it was missing from the original resolution, and we want to add it now. So it's just, that's what I'm saying, there seemed to be lacking information, because, I mean, you got to picture this 5 years, somebody's looking for this resolution, it's going to say we authorized the CEO to sign. Well, what did we authorize her to sign? So it's just that the fact that that resolution, we had lacked the direction on who was being authorized to sign in the original two. That motion, as well as in number 7, was not there. So that's the amendments I'm understanding that you want to make, correct, Deb? Is to add those two. So that's what I'm saying. There just seems to be a lack of information, so that's not very clear in the actual resolution.
So my understanding, talking with Tracy, so it says the therefore it resolved stays. The only line to be added is the chief executive officer be authorized to sign on behalf of the Six Nations of the Grand River. Another therefore. Go ahead, Cynthia.
That was gonna be my question. I can't open mine. It says error. But what is it? I think somewhere in there, for example, be authorized to, if it's paving, I don't even know what it is, be authorized to sign the contract regarding paving or with whoever the contractor name is for paving, something to identify it. Is that, looking at yours, is that what it's for, also paving?
Use your mic.
When we originally approved them, or when they were originally approved, that there was no authorization on who was to sign. But so they're not changing any motion, they want to add to it that,
I realize that. I'm saying, this is gonna be a motion coming up in the minutes, but regards to what? It doesn't even say in there. Is this one paving as well?
yes.
And the other one we just
Yes.
approved is paving? Because I remember we did it in two parts,
Yes.
right? We did the initial and then the additional.
And,
If we could just add that on there, or
and that's why I agree with you, there's a lack of information in both these resolutions, and that's what I'm saying, maybe there should be another, whereas the original authorization was missing, and then therefore we will finally want to add that or amend that to include this.
Amos?
We could just, in the minutes, put the whole resolution in there and what we're amending, because aren't we just asking further be it resolved that you get the authority, or Tracy gets the authority to sign off, right? We're just adding another further be it resolved. But if I can read what it says for the further be it resolved, if that's what you want, Cynthia, it says,
that isn't what I want,
Oh.
Amos. I know what it's about. The resolutions we passed last time didn't give anybody authority to sign the thing. That's
Right.
what we're adding.
right,
In addition, on my own, I'm saying we should be saying somewhere in there what it's for. Like, I know it's going to join the other one, but the other one's not here. For example, approved to be authorized to sign the contract with whoever the contractor is for the paving. That's all.
When I'm doing the resolution, I'll be sure to add in the original resolution, so that way it's more together.
Okay. So it's been moved and second? Number 7. Okay. Can I have a mover and a seconder for this? Moved by Hazel, second by Carrie. All in favor? Anybody opposed? See none, carried. Waive second reading. Moved by Hazel, second by Carrie. All in favor? Anybody opposed? See none, carried. Let's go to number 8. Is comprehension funding agreement amendment to number 177 and 178.
Good morning, Chief and Council. So for item number 8, Indigenous Services Canada Comprehensive Funding Agreement, amendments number 177 and 178. And it reads, whereas Six Nations of the Grand River Elected Council has entered into a 5-year comprehensive funding agreement with Indigenous Services Canada, whereas comprehensive funding agreement amendments numbers 177 and 178 have been received for council approval and signatures. Therefore, be it resolved that Six Nations of the Grand River 59th Elected Council approve and sign the following comprehensive funding agreement amendments numbers 177 and 178 for fiscal year 2025-26 between His Majesty the King in Right of Canada as represented by the Minister of Indigenous Services and the Six Nations of the Grand River. The amendment includes additional funding for the following departments, programs, or projects. Amendment number 177 is for Child and Family Services on reserve operations and maintenance housing for $6,652,720. And amendment number 178 for maternal and child health midwifery for $660,000.
Okay, so is there a mover? Moved by Audrey, seconder. Second by Amos. Question? Go ahead, Cynthia.
Yeah, this, Jennifer, this is additional funds, and we go to child and family. It's on reserve O&M for housing. Now, we've got a challenge already spending what we did get for the, what could be capital portion. So how, I don't know, hopefully, like the shovel better get in the ground pretty quick, because I understand this has got to be done by the end of March. Then on top of that, we have O&M for something we don't have. I don't know what's the story with that.
Unfortunately, I don't have the story, and I also cannot access the paperwork behind this. I'm very sorry for that, but it's definitely something that I'll follow up with to make sure that there's a plan for it.
Go ahead, Tracy.
Good morning, Chief and Council. I guess, do you recall when there was the additional funding that was the $6 million we put together with the housing project to ensure that we had all of those new townhouses and things that were going up? It was a split between housing and child and family services. This money is definitely earmarked for that and will be spent on those things. Correct. Yes, we passed a motion on it, I think maybe 2 finances ago.
Okay, so it's been moved and seconded. All in favor? Anybody opposed? See none, carried. Waive second reading. Moved by Audrey, second by Amos. All in favor? Anybody opposed? See none, carried. Let's go to number 9, financial support for the Six Nations Language Commission. I know this was brought up before and was to ask Jennifer if there's money available and from where. Go ahead, Elena.
My concern last time was we always just jump to the OFNLP money, and that's what was talked about. But I think there could be money elsewhere. My concern is that we haven't done our budgeting yet, and we've accessed the OFNLP quite a bit, and there may be enough to support this, but we do have to remember that OFNLP is not a forever pot of money. So if there were other pots of money that would fit with language and culture and revitalization and that sort of thing, that was the concern, that we look elsewhere to bring in maybe for different parts of their budget.
Audrey?
Yeah, we asked Karen to go and make sure that she goes back and asks HCC for funding. She was gonna go check on that right away and let us know. So did she let you know, anybody here on council? Okay, because we said up to that amount of money that they asked for. I can't even remember the figure, nor can I look it up.
Cynthia?
And I believe in that discussion that we had prior, didn't we also mention that HRTC money, that it can be used for culture and language? And it seems like since we're having such a challenge with that, we're wondering if maybe some of that could be used for this.
For the CHRT funds, I think, Tracy, were you going to speak to that? Okay.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say that I can work with Deborah and Jennifer to see exactly what it is that we can put towards that amount from those funds if it's allowable. At this point, I believe that Wayne did research the OFNLP in order to support the language commission's request for this particular amount. And although it says up, you're saying up to 1.05 million, in fact, they're only asking an additional 330,000 to what normally we would provide to them anyway. So they're asking just to cover what HCC has not promised to cover.
I thought it was 300 and some thousand in addition to.
Can, just hang on a second, can you use your mic?
I thought it was, I can't remember the figures, 600 and some thou was the norm. Then they were short 300 and some thou because of lack of contribution from, was it HCC? So that's why it was up to, but we'd still need that whole money regardless. It's not like a funded program, the almost $1 million, or it might have come to that. So that was the question, like we'd still need that full amount. Yeah, this is what we've given before, but in addition to that, we need this 300 and some thousand.
Go ahead, Tracy.
So yes, that was what was researched, and as Jennifer was away, Wayne did confirm that there is no problem with that additional 330,000. Also want to just remind council that we can do line changes within our budget. So should we decide later that this money can be taken out as SHIRT, that's something that we can have Jennifer redirect those funds back into ONLFP so that we continue to go by whatever it is that you decide in the end. But given this is time sensitive, I think that we have confirmed it's there for the time they require it. We can always go back and have it forwarded if that's the case.
I have follow up, then I have Amos, Hazel, Audrey, and Elena.
Again, in the discussion, the concern noted was that OFNLP pot is paying for everything. That was the concern. Like there might be money there. We have to check for sure to make sure there is. However, it had been described to us a challenge, whatever that is, for that HRTC money. That's where we said put it aside, give people time. So for today, you can see if it's so challenging, perhaps, because we were told before it could be used for language and culture, that money. That was the idea.
Amos.
Yeah, and the ONLP money that is used for community and for culture is the pillars that they have in there. So it's in keeping with that, number one. Number two, we are giving this, going back to Jennifer and her crew and the team, administrative team, look where we could source that money, whether it's ONLP or, that's what we're talking about now, right? The only thing I can suggest, the only thing I can offer is that talking with Karen last week, she wanted to know what agenda was going to be on, and so I said I thought it was this one. But what they really need, if we can just go with bridge funding for now, to get them over the next couple of months, if that's what we need to do. But they're open to that as well. But if you can identify where the source is from, that's better for us than them, I guess.
Deb, did you want to?
I just wanted to remind everybody too, regarding the SHIRT money, there's parameters around spending that as well. Yes, culture and language is part of that. However, we have to make sure also that we are spending it according to the targeted age group of up to 18. So we can't throw everything at SHIRT either because there's those strict funding guidelines there. I am going to speak to SHIRT later this after I guess, in the agenda, but just to give you a heads up, I am requesting an hour of dedicated time during budget days so that I can do a presentation to you on SHIRT with those parameters. Also, the revenue that has come in and what has gone out to give you an idea of where we are currently with that funding.
Hazel?
Yeah, I was just going to express some of the confusion that I think comes with the culture language funding. I sit on a community trust, and the trust gives a good portion of the money. I know GRE, it was in a paper, who had contributed a nice sum of money. Council does, and I think before HDI did. So I'm wondering, what is the base amount needed in 1 year to operate that language commission? It's never been really clarified how much money they need, but they go to all of these sources and people are given money, but where's the cutoff, or how much is enough? It's never been truly clarified. Thanks.
Audrey?
If we're ready to vote, I'm ready to make that a motion, up to that million, whatever it is. Up to including.
Elena?
I'll second your motion, Audrey. I'm totally for all of this. My concern is that we utilize the money as efficiently as possible. So just for Jennifer's information, I don't know that you were here, maybe you were, but part of their budget is printing resources for schools. So that might target the up to 18. So that's what I'm talking about, these budget line items that we can pull from elsewhere. So just for your information. And Hazel, I think, not that I can act or any of us can access it right now, but I think their budget is somewhere in the realm of $1 million every year.
Go ahead, Amos.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask Jennifer, if we do approve it this morning, like when can we release the funds to them? This week or 2 weeks or this week? Okay.
Yes, if we move it and waive the second reading, then we could release it this week. And thank you, Councillor Van Avery, for that information. That is something that we do strive to do, is look at the sources, and then if there's a more applicable source, then that's when we come in and ask for amendments to your initial motions so that we can apply that to it. But I'll definitely keep my eye on that and speak with the Language Commission to see how much we can allocate towards the CHRT funding, if it is an appropriate place to do that, and then I'll bring it back for information.
Amos?
I'm willing to go to a commission and ask them for like a 3 or 5 year plan that's indexed to see what their costs would be for the next 3 to 5 years. At least we'll know when they tender it to us that what they're going to need in the next 3 to 5 years. That responds to Hazel's question. Right, Hazel?
So when they came and gave the budget, the total salary and program costs was 1.964262. That was pretty much 2 million. That was what they gave when they came. The motion has already been passed, moved by Elena Van Avery, second by Audrey Paulus-Bomberry, that the Six Nations of the Grand River 59th Elected Council accept the request from the Six Nations Language Commission to allow the funding of 1.05 million, this was just as information. Prior to the approval of the request, SNGREC agreed to send to the Finance Department for suggestions on where the funding will come from.
We're ratifying it today with another motion, or?
No, the request was to ask us to go back to finance to source where that funding would come from. In Jennifer's absence, we spoke with Wayne. He confirmed that it can be covered from OFNLP, that complete amount, taking into consideration the concerns around the table in terms of the OFNLP dollars. My suggestion is that we can go with that because it's there and available, which is what council asked for. And if there is a spot for us to take some of that funding from CHRT, then we can certainly have Jennifer redirect that money back into the OFNLP fund. That's what our suggestion is.
Go ahead, Jennifer.
And just for clarification, when I do redirect towards OFNLP, because any money's in and any money's out comes to council table, so that would be brought as an item to uncommit it from the Nations Language Commission. And then at that point, I would let you know how much was used by the CHRT.
So is there a mover? Yep, moved by Audrey, second by Elena. Any other questions or comments? All in favor? Anybody opposed? See none, carried. Waive second reading. Moved by Audrey, second by Elena. All in favor? Anybody opposed? See none, carried. Let's go to number 10. Motion to adjourn to go to in camera. Is there a mover? Moved by Hazel, seconder. Second by Carrie. All in favor? Anybody opposed? See none, carried. Thank you for joining us today and have a great day, everyone.